everyone. Thank you so much for your time. We are all gathered here for a very special book, as you know. But what makes it extra special is, what is today? World Book Day. So, hopefully something very unique and new is going to come about, because for book readers, authors, writers, today is a very lucky, auspicious day, book lovers as well. And I'm so excited to introduce you to people we're going to have on stage, our anchor and our author. So let's have Mia with us on stage. So let's have Dhiraj, Professor Dhiraj. Please take a seat. First, Mia, thank you so much. And Professor Dhiraj.
Today, we guys are here to talk about a book that may have been launched in 2023, but its ideas feel more relevant today than ever. Well, Mastro, an epic of the future, is not just a novel. It's a thought provoking take on how artificial intelligence is slowly becoming a part of our everyday lives, shaping decisions, influencing creativity, and even stepping into spaces we once believed only humans could lead. And the mind and author behind this powerful narrative is someone who brings together creativity and intellect in the most unique way. Well, he is a writer, an abstract artist, a journalist, a translator, a documentary filmmaker, and of course, an educator. Someone who understands both storytelling and reality deeply. Through Mastro, he connects his understanding of the world with the possibilities of the future, raising an important question. Is AI here to assist us, or is it learning to lead us? Well, please join me in welcoming the author of Mastro, Mr. Dhiraj Singh.
Thank you.
I guess words come here to describe him and the kind of a creative person he is, guys, in terms of not just one, but in many, many, many fields. So, Dheeraj, as Mastro talks about a future shaped by artificial intelligence, something we are already beginning to experience today. So, to begin with, I would love to ask you a few questions about the idea behind the book and what really inspired you to explore this space. Okay, so as Mastro is a novel that reimagines politics and technology in India of the future, right? So broadly speaking, what has changed in the future from today, according to you?
Since it's said in the future, it's like out there somewhere. I haven't sort of named or date stamped the time where the book is set, but somewhere vaguely in the future. And I think the book emerged from this feeling that where we are headed in the near future or even in the far future, we are beginning to get too dependent or too overwhelmed by this assisted technology and living through this
Yes.
assisted technology. And somewhere down the line, we are forgetting our own true values that define us, especially as a country,
Yes.
especially as a democracy. Somewhere down the line, I think the image of the book emerged through the protest movements that were happening in the country at that time, around 22, 23. And I observed that this whole system of control, systematized control that was happening, and especially affecting one of the most easily controlled and also difficult to control sections of society, which are students. So there were student protests that began at that time. And the way the government or the people in power sort of tried to subdue those was quite, in my mind, unexpected. So the germ of the novel Mastro comes from that. And the character or the main character is a person who has a lot of angst and feeling against people who wield power, especially governments. And that is why he has this particular axe to grind. And he is not a human being. He is someone who is a mutant. And why he has this huge axe to grind is because he has been created artificially. He was not born out of intent, as he says in the book. He is not born out of the natural process. He was created. And that is why he feels this particular anger towards the people who have created him and created him for a particular purpose, and that is to be used and to be abused in a way.
That's right. You yourself didn't know that you're so creative, and then because of the AI,
Yeah, I surprise myself at times. Yeah, yeah.
So I guess with this just one question, I guess many of us must have got that curiosity that I don't know when this session will get over and you guys will get a chance to read the book or maybe go through it. So yes, definitely don't forget to do that. So that gets me to another question. I can identify with your character Ek because he's a celebrity interviewer and people follow him, of course. But there's a part of Ek that he doesn't want anyone to know. How did you think of that? An anchor with a dark past?
Okay, so Ek is one of the main characters, and he's called Ek is a shortened form of his name. He's Ekant, but he is a very well-known person. He's a public person. Everyone watches his interviews. He's a very good interviewer, and his life is sort of duplicitous because he asks very deep and probing questions from his audiences, and he makes people squirm in their hot seat where he interviews them. But he has a dark past, and what the interesting part is that the machine or the AI, which is all over in the book, especially, it's all encompassing. It's looking at you from every side, observing you, seeing your reactions, which is what is also happening today. And there's a part of about Ek's life which no one knows, and he's really, really intent on keeping it that way. But suddenly, during an interview, what happens is the AI sort of uses Mastro and turns the table on him, and suddenly Ek is being interviewed, and his whole dark past is brought out in the course of that interview, which is happening on national TV. And that is one disastrous thing. And the interesting thing is, Ek has no idea because he's in a trance, and he comes out of that interview having spilled all his beans about his dark past, only to realize that the whole world knows about his dark past, and he has no idea. So that also is an indication on how much control, how much information, how much data, all the apps that we use are actually using us. They are taking in all this information from us and building our own lives in reverse. And someday that my life might be played back to you, and you'll realize that, whoa, how does this guy know so much? So that's the sort of wow moment in the book, which happens during the interview itself.
That's something really very interesting answer. That's getting me that curiosity or maybe wittiness of which even I could have some sort of AI with me at the moment. I mean, I could have got out some dark secret from your past. I guess many of the audiences would have even loved to be part of that, taking out some dark secret from your past. But nevertheless, hopefully even we should have some kind of AI soon in our own respective lives.
I hope not, but yes, the day is not far.
Yes, yes. So let's get to now the little deeper questions. Let's talk about the politicians in the book. Yeah, there's this prime minister who's not got a lot of fans, and then there's the Baganti, right, who is layered character. Is she based on any real life women politician?
So Baganti is based on many and no one actually. She's a composite of so many women politicians. She's someone who is trying to create her own space in politics, and she is also the minister of emotions. And it's a ministry which I sort of made up on my own. And she is always the fall guy in the cabinet. She's given positions, but she's never given the top positions, even though she has a lot of experience behind her. But she is interesting and layered because she's one of the biggest followers and fans of Mastro, and she has been his ardent supporter. We see that kind of nexus in our real lives also. There's so many politicians who are big supporters of godmen, babas, sadhus, and so on. But Baganti has her own different reasons why she supports this person and why she's so much against the mutant elephants. She also has her own dark past, where as a child she grew up in the place where the experiments were happening, and her father was one of the scientists of the Blue Lab, where the elephants were being artificially created, the mutants were being created there. So she has a connect with the main character, both Master O and the AI-enabled elephants. So yes, she's a layered politician. She's unlike any other politician we've known in our time, but she has imprints of many. So interestingly, why I called her Bug Auntie also was because we have Didi, we have Benji, we have Amma. Auntie was not there. So I said, let me name my female protagonist Bug Auntie. So Bug Auntie is the
So,
Minister of Emotions.
do we have some glimpse or little characteristics of the Home Minister you have at the moment of your better half? Do we have certain glimpses or characteristics of her into that Baganti or no?
No, she's far away from being in politics. So maybe someday she will, but who knows?
Because at every home we have one Home Minister for sure.
Yeah, Home Minister for sure.
So, as you spoke about the elephants and also that gets me to another very interesting question. Now, the most interesting part, the Ibari, who are elephants but not quite. They are magical creatures, as you mentioned, but at the same time, utterly mysterious.
Mhm.
Yeah, and somehow they have made life very difficult for Delhiites of the future.
Mhm.
What are the Ibari trying to tell us about the future? I guess most of us will be very curious to know that.
So Ibaris are actually, Ib is the ancient Sanskrit word for elephants. So I took it from the Ibaris. And they're the mutants actually. And they are pulling the strings from behind the scenes all over.
Mhm.
And they have laid siege to Delhi. So they have blocked all the entry points of the capital.
Mhm.
And actually the protesters in this case are huge herds and herds of elephants. So the actual mutant elephant is controlling the real elephants who have laid siege all around Delhi. They have captured Delhi in a way. And because they are also protesting, they want certain things done for them. And this main protagonist, we don't know how many Ibharis there are, and whether there is one or many, or they're all on the cloud. We don't know anything about that. But this particular one, he calls himself Vajradhara, which is one of the names of the Buddha of the future, the Buddha of the lightning. So he is managing things from behind the scenes, and he is like the puppeteer who's playing everyone, and he is making Delhi pay for its sins, so to speak, because Delhi has been very unfair. Delhi represents the capital, Delhi represents the power, and he has a lot of axes to grind against the power plays in the capital. So he has held Delhi hostage, and there is a siege all over. He's cut off supplies and everything. And at one point in the book, the elephants also get very sort of violent. So there is arson and there is this kind of things that happen. So again, it's never happened before, but we've had protesters doing strange things. But here, in this case, there are elephants doing the protest, so which is also huge. Can you imagine a big herd of elephants stopping traffic on the main NH24 or whatever? And what happens? That kind of scenario. So there's a scene in the book which describes this herds and herds of elephants, like as far as the eye can see. And people don't know if they can trigger the elephants, the herd will go mad and they will just run rampage on the road and kill everyone. That sort of situation also happens in the book. So
while you're talking, I can visualize how massive the scenario.
Yeah, it's like an ocean of elephants.
Many
in
of
the
people
city,
can
which we
imagine.
can hardly imagine.
True. So, of course, everything comes with the pros and cons, praises, and critical reviews. So that gets me to another question. You have won many awards and, of course, very critical reviews for the book. But somehow I feel Mastro is not an easy book to digest by many people. Yeah. So people have said that they've not read anything in life before this. Was it a deliberate choice to make it like that, or it just happened?
So that's an interesting question. Yes, I've heard that. A lot of people have told me I've not read anything like this before. It's slightly difficult. I don't know where it's going. It's going so many directions. It was deliberate. I did not want an omniscient voice. I did not want an all-knowing narrator to be telling the story. The story is told by so many protagonists, and everyone is telling the story in the first person. So the Ibari is telling his story, Mastro is telling his story, Ek is telling his story, Bug Auntie is telling. Bug Auntie is the only one who is written by the omniscient voice. So Bug Auntie's story is being told by the all-knowing voice, but every other character is telling their own story. And each chapter is a sort of window into the mind and reasons and motivations of each character. And there is no pattern to it. There is no structure to it, I would say, which is what I also wanted to do. I wanted to break that lazy expectation we have as readers that, okay, this happens and then that happens and that leads to this and then leads to something else. I wanted to be like a really, really chaotic traffic, which can go this way or that way, you don't know. And where they're leading, sometimes they're also leading you nowhere. So that also happens. So it's not easy to read, I think, but I think once you immerse yourselves into it, you will find some wisdom, some joy, some feeling, some passion in the book. So yeah.
But yeah, while reading, even I was trying to connect, but it takes little time to connect with a book. But definitely, a point comes when actually you feel it, you can connect, you can understand the exact book. So yeah, I totally agree with that. As you mentioned, you that Mastro was inspired by the idea that we aren't far from a reality where algorithms start affecting us in an unintended ways. How much of our current AI obsession do you see reflected in the way your characters interact with their world?
So yes, it's true. I mean, when I was writing the book, we did not have AI is a word which has sort of been used, and everyone is using it in this year particularly. But we were getting there. So what I'm trying to say through the book is that this AI is watching you all the time.
Yes.
AI is reading what you're
24/7,
reading.
365 days.
Yes. Reading what you are reading, watching what you're watching, seeing what you're liking, seeing what you're overlooking, and so on. And they have this massive amounts of data on you.
Yes.
And sometimes I tell my students that AI knows more than your mother knows
Actually,
about you.
I like
So everything, all your secrets, everything it knows. And it can be really weaponized.
Yes.
And the day is not far when this data, which is, it has been collecting over and over, and it has huge capacity to collect data. Everyone who's a user is an audience as well as also a sort of product. So and that data can be weaponized. It can be used in so many different ways, and many of those ways are actually very dangerous. But there is no point where we can apply the brakes, because right now we are at a situation where the dependence is increasing, data centers are coming up, people are data driven, everything in the world is data driven. So we don't know when to apply the brakes. But I think the scenario that I'm describing in the book, somewhere in the future that might come true, where the AI systems will take over the government. This is what happens.
It has already almost, yeah.
It will take over the government, and the government, we usually choose people who are going to rule over us. But in this scenario, we will have person which what actually happens. The ruler is actually a proxy of the AI. So the person who's ruling the country is being ruled by the AI system itself, and we don't know what it wants. We can just treat it as like this alien intelligence. It is extracting stuff from us, making us work or not work, making us happy or not. And also, one of the things in the book is that it is determining how you're feeling. The ideas that are coming in your head are not really your own ideas. It's coming from your feed, what you're seeing, how you're processing that, how it's leading you into ways. If the system wants you to see certain product or certain service, then it'll take your attention there, right? It drives your attention there, and you have very little control over that. You just get sucked in.
We don't have any control, I would say.
You just get sucked into this thing that it wants you to see, and sucked out of the things that it doesn't want you to see.
So we don't even realize when
it's very smooth. It's very smooth. It's very very intuitive. It is very under the radar and just passes. Yep.
So as just now you mentioned, we really don't know when to set the boundary or draw the lines. What would you like to tell to our younger generations when they should realize it's high time, like we should set a boundary, or maybe we should not be that much dependent on AI? Because at present moment, as you rightly said, most of the government, or maybe in our respective personal life also, we're so much dependent on AI. For any small good girl, whatever it is, we have the ChatGPT, we have the AI, we have to do this, we have to do this. So when should we set up boundaries, or when should we realize, no, apart from this AI, little bit we should also do something practically or manually.
Yeah. So there are some thinkers actually who have said that the nuclear armament, or that was one of the biggest turning point, and everyone had to be sort of cautioned against it because it could just destroy the world.
Yes.
And the same thing can also apply to the power that AI wields in our lives now. And people realize the extent of the damage that nuclear weapons could do when Hiroshima and Nagasaki happened. So I think it may take a world sort of stopping event, like a black swan event. I cannot anticipate what it might be, but it will take something of that nature, uh, that sort of extent to wake people up and just pull out the plugs from this whole system, which are dominating our lives. But because this kind of applying the brakes doesn't happen automatically unless something happens in front of you and say, "Oh, whoa, I need to
I
stop."
guess probably we ourselves can have that sort of control.
I don't know. Is it easy to have
think
control? How many
so.
you think it's easy to have
It's
control?
not easy, but at
It's
least we can
not.
try. I mean to say, if we think that we don't want to have sweets or sugar, I mean nobody else is going to do that thing on our behalf. We have to have a
So
control.
just like we cut down on sugar, we have to cut down on our screen
so,
time.
and it's hard,
yeah,
but not
it's hard.
impossible. So
Yeah.
yes, so as you mentioned about this tough competition and the war against us and the AI, so that gets me to another question, that your book depicts a war between humans and mutant species. So as we see AI replacing human roles today, do we view this conflict as a literal threat or a spiritual one, where we lose the essence of what it means to be the human?
Yeah, I think the question is both physical as well as spiritual, because a lot of times in today's time, especially we are seeing it, uh, a lot of our existential answers, young people especially, are looking for on ChatGPT.
Yes.
What do I do in such a situation? How do I sort of take care of my relationship? How do I go
Actually.
find my career? The answers are coming from them. The day is not far when deeply existential questions will also be searched there. What do we do? I mean, it's something which is all immersive, and now with AR, VR, it's going to be much more immersive. You don't know where the physical reality ends and where the virtual begins, or vice versa. So it is very difficult, and we are sort of at this strange point in the history of humanity where we really don't know how to sort of control this beast. And as in the book, it happens, the power that the AI wields is so strong. It reads your thoughts. What happens at one point in the book is that Ek, who's the anchor, he is kidnapped by the Ibaris, and they take him to a place where it's very serene, it's very beautiful, and he's never seen this kind of place before. It's a step well, and he has this deep fear of water because as a child he's had this drowning incident. He was almost killed. He fell off a boat and almost killed, and the machines know that. They sort of heal him of that trauma, which is a good thing that happens. But the good thing that is happening to him is leading to his further compromising of this character. So sometimes the good that is coming out of the AI system is seeming to be very helpful, very good for us, but we don't know where it's leading. It could lead us down the garden path and take us to somewhere which is very dangerous and unwanted. And that's what happens with Ek, where he's cured of his fear of water and drowning, but ultimately Ek loses that. He's very he has a very strong critical faculty because he's an interviewer, he's a journalist, but that somehow gets compromised because of this one incident.
You've said in one, like another interview, that the idea of the Baris came to you during real world police crackdowns on student protests and movements against the CAA and NRC. Sorry. How did witnessing those power equations influence the rebellion within your own book?
Yeah, so I mean, that was a trigger when we were seeing those protests happen, and especially with one of the most vulnerable groups in the society. They're not earning members, they're not taxpayers, they're students. The pushback happened, And that is when I started thinking, going deeper and deeper. What will happen? I mean, you are using so much force against such a vulnerable population, and what can be the sort of after effect of this? How will you control the way they start thinking, and how will you control sort of this pushback against the powers? And that led me to this idea of creating a mutant elephant, which is very, very powerful. But at the beginning of his life, he did not know the kind of power he had, because the person who made the Ibharis, he was a scientist, and he was just trying to make a product for doing a specific task. But he did not realize that the genetic manipulation that he had done would lead to such sort of almost magical powers that this creature would have eventually. That he would know the secrets of time, he would make himself small, make himself big, hide in plain sight, so many things that he was able to do. And then ultimately to use people's thought processes and misuse them, abuse them for his own purposes. So that was a spiral that was triggered by the protest, but it went into a direction where I think my imagination took over. I had very little control over it. It was almost like automatic
Imagine,
writing.
yeah. So,
And I just surrendered to that process and kept writing.
no, sir. Yes, I guess no one has a control over imaginations
Yep.
and from imagining whatever, and then just so that gets me to another really interesting question that you write about the elite figures who have avoided accountability for decades.
Mhm.
Does your novel offer a persistent warning that technology might eventually be the tool that finally holds the powerful to account?
Mm, mm. Yes, I think once we have had people, places, governments, countries which have been run by extremely powerful individuals who had compromised all freedoms, freedom of speech, freedom of expression, and they've just really had ruled with an iron fist. But the technological aspect, which is going to become much, much more sort of every day, that in a way will turn the tables eventually. It's already happening, where people who have wielded power for a long time will not know how to sort of dam this or keep it in control, because that will just go out of hand. And we are very near that inflection point. It's going to happen in the next few months or so on, where they will not be able to control. And ultimately, yes, technology will be able to hold people or hold powerful people to account, and be able to change systems in such a way where the old systems are totally useless. They will not work. They will not be able to be open to manipulation, corruption, and so on, because the AI itself will become all powerful and all ruling. So, in a way, there is a cure somewhere, but that cure is leading us into another spiral, which it's like the Matrix. So, we are coming out of something and going into something else.
Yeah, but I guess if we see the positive side, we have more of a positive. If we have a really nice control over everything, because control is this thing, mind game, the mind holding. I said, ki, if it's our control, we can control anything.
Mhm.
So this AI thing is, of course, adding value to our lives, to the government systems, to our education, whatever field I would say. This is quite helping us.
Yep.
Yes.
So far, it's been very helpful.
Yeah, but as
uh,
you said, now whatever it is, we should have a boundary. We should have the control of whatever things
in whatever
exceed.
way we
Yeah.
can, yes,
Yeah,
we have
yeah,
to
yeah.
sort of manage it, because
Anything, whatever
ultimately,
goes beyond out of control, that is not good in terms
ultimately,
of, yeah,
the
yeah.
your own sort of sovereignty
Yes.
lies within yourself, and
Yes.
you have to take charge of it. I mean, that's one of the lessons in the book
Yes.
also, where the way you are and how you run your life eventually is in your hands. And if you let it out or outsource it to other powers, then you stand to lose your own
Yes.
agency, your own sovereignty. Yeah.
So the 1880 philosophy, you've referenced the ancient Indian idea of 1880, not this, not that, as a personal inspiration. How does this process of negation help you as a writer strip away the distractions of current events to find the deeper truth in your fiction?
Hmm. Yeah, so the idea of not this, not that, neti is very important because I think it has defined all my creative pursuit. So when I was doing my art residency, I created these artworks made of X-rays. And when I was conceptualizing that work, everything else was dissolved. The body was dissolved. Only the bone structure remained, and only the essential part remained. Because without the bone structure, there is nothing, and when there is nothing, only the bone structure remains or the skeleton remains. So I think it's very important, especially in our times, to strip out the noise, to sort of cut out the fluff, and just look at what the essential argument is or what the essential proposition is. And then things become clearer. So I think as a practice, to achieve clarity, it's very important to
Yes.
remove all the noise, all the sort of haziness. And once you get that, you become sort of yeah, everything becomes clear. So I
Clear,
think
yeah.
that's the way. So I think that appeals to me, and appealed to me very early in life. I read somewhere, I said, wow, this is a great concept to have. To not this, not that. I'm not for this, I'm not for that, and still I'm for something, but I don't know what it is. I don't need to define it.
Yes.
Only you know, and you know it at a very deep gut level.
So that gets me to the last question from the session. You've said it is a gift to connect the dots in your surroundings. What was the single most startling dot you connected between a news headline and a scene in Mastro?
Wow. So I think one of the most uh, impacting scene is like the one I've mentioned, where the elephants are all around the city. They have blockaded the roads leading to the city. And that kind of scene we've seen many times. We saw it in the farmers' protests, we saw it in the student protests, where the people, actually individuals, have come and stopped all traffic, and the government sort of sometimes lathi charged them, sometimes tear gas them.
Yes.
But here was a situation where there is an instance in the book where Bagga auntie, she says, how do we deal with the elephants, because you cannot put them in jail,
Yes.
you cannot put them behind bars, and they
Yeah.
are protesting. What do we do? So it's a real situation, and it's a challenging situation for anyone who's an administrator or a ruler, and yet it's a law and order problem. So I think that was something which came out really of the headlines and of the news cycle, where we see protests happening. And in a way, now we are sort of totally inured. And when we see a protest happening on the screen, we say, "Oh, ये तो होता रहता है." But that was my sort of takeaway, and I sort of transformed that into something else. And visually also, I think when you imagine herds and herds of elephants on the road, and they could go out of control at any point because they're waiting for the trigger from the AI controller, and he threatens that he can make them go on this wild run across the city, across the capital, which is like really unnerving. What do you do with so many elephants? Where do you sort of get the tranquilizer for so many elephants to sort of put them to sleep? So that's a situation which I found ironic and interesting at the same time as a writer.
Well, I can keep on going and going. We've got a list of questions because you're answering so beautifully.
Thank you.
And so, because I can connect with them. So, unfortunately, I'll have to end with that session. So, thank you so much for those insightful questions. But
Thank you.
now, just to make things a little more fun and spontaneous, we have to move on to some quick rapid fire questions.
Okay.
Short questions, quick answers. So let's see the other side, fun side of you, Dhiraj,
Sure,
apart
sure.
from being a serious author and such a multi-talented person. If your book were a musical genre, what would it be and why?
It would be
Quick, huh? It's a rapid fire. You're not supposed to take so much
It
time.
would be like Sinners, I think, the movie Sinners. Yes, something like that. It's quite undefinable, but if you want me to say Sinners, it would be
That's
Sinners.
nice. Even your son is like, he wasn't expecting that kind of answer. That's nice. So describe your book in 3 emojis.
Okay.
Emojis, huh? And not like Emmy. All the Gen Z and millennials are sitting there, so they know what is
So,
emoji.
what would be the surprise emoji? The other would
I
be.
guess करके दिखाओगे ज़्यादा
That would
अच्छा
be
लगे.
surprise.
What you guys say, right? Yes, 3 emojis. Come on.
Surprise and
Was it a surprise, guys? Was
and
it a
the one
surprise?
where your brain is on fire, smoke coming out. That one. And I think I don't know what to do.
Oh, that's nice. That was really sweet.
Yes.
That's nice. One of the audience did it better.
Yeah.
See, that's nice. Okay. Coffee, chai, or something stronger while writing. What fuels must throw?
Something stronger, definitely.
Okay, so if you could teleport one character from your book into real life or lunch, who and where would you take them?
Oh, I think it would be Bagan.
That's nice.
She's really interesting, and
Would love to follow you guys in that case.
and yeah, to Kunzum Cafe.
That's
That'd be
nice. That would be an interesting conversation over your lunch.
Absolutely.
Yes. Which of your artistic hats, if you had to wear it, it's author, artist, filmmaker, educator. Claim this project first.
I think the author and the filmmaker, because some scenes which when I was writing, I was really visualizing them, and what happens next, what is there in the setting, what is the framing. So, filmmaker and author,
Oh,
definitely.
that's nice. Everyone has a secret when we read something or watch something. So this gets with this interesting question.
Mhm.
Which character is secretly you and which one is your ideal one?
Um, so I think Ek, who's the anchor and who's interviewer, is not so secretly me because I've done that and I have interviewed and been in that situation. So Ek is very close to me, and that's one of the reasons I created him, saying that here is a character who likes to get all the sort of secrets from people in the hot seat, but he himself doesn't sort of open up. So that is kind of something like me.
I guess that's a very personal question which has come from my side. Everybody knows Dhiraj Singh, including me or the audiences sitting out there. But is there anything we guys don't know as a layman, as an audiences? Because what we know, what you show us, what you tell us, or what you've written. Is there anything personal or hidden thing we guys don't know you would like to say it on a public platform today?
No, I mean there are parts of me in the book, and you just told me which one. So Ek is the one I identify most with.
But that is written. We
Yeah.
want something which is not there anywhere. Which
Okay.
is coming for the first time from this platform.
Ah.
We can know. Oh, nobody knows this about Dheeraj, but yes, we got to hear on this day on this platform or channel. Yeah, I mean, just we would love to
So,
hear it.
I
Even
would.
your students, I would.
I had a very
yeah.
interesting childhood. I grew up in very close to a mental hospital. So there.
Okay, we are hearing you.
So let me clarify, because my mother used to work there. So that's
Okay,
just the
okay, guys.
reason for the proximity.
Sorry, yes. So much next mental hospital. Wherever he is sitting at the right place. I guess we must agree with that, right? Just smartly to answer the
No, but listen, that experience gave me so much tolerance for understanding different POVs, which I don't think a lot of my contemporaries, my classmates had, and as a result, I became this magnet for people who were not quite fine. And wherever I went, a lot of people used to think I'm their therapist, and they used to sort of
Oh God.
unload with me.
This is something unexpected answer I got. We were expecting something funny. We did. Today, every second person is facing that sort of challenge of
Yeah. I mean, I had childhood. I did a
Therapist.
PhD while being a child.
Oh, that was really nice. That was really nice, interesting question. So, your weirdest writing ritual?
Oh, it's weird because I cannot write till everyone in the house is asleep. So I have to wait for everyone to sleep. Sometimes I used to incentivize, go to sleep, because I have to start writing. And then it's almost like I'm preparing myself for a ritual, like a puja. I have to take a bath
Oh,
and
nice.
then sit down, and it was that. That was weird to a lot of people, I think.
No, I mean, this is something really interesting. I got to know. I didn't know that people do have this thing. Obviously, everyone has their own way.
Yeah,
of starting.
it's
This is something really nice and interesting.
Yeah, I think creativity has its own quirks and sort of own systems, and people are quirky. People who are creative are quirky, and they do strange things, but this is mine. For writing, I have to, it's almost like a ritual, and it has to be totally silent.
And now we would love to hear from our amazing, talented audiences and Gen Z millennial people. So if anyone has any sort of questions about the book, about the story, or your thoughts on artificial intelligence and leadership, the stage is now open for your guys. Do we have somebody who can help me, Anthony?
So I was going through the reviews, and one of them literally stated that it is perhaps a mix of emotions that creates a reading experience at par with writers like H.G. Wells and J.K. Rowling in terms of rattling and senses and uniqueness in being innovative. So first of all, being your debut book, it's a big compliment. I want to congratulate you, and I'm very more than proud to read that as a student of yours. So coming on to my question, it's a bit offbeat. So all throughout the interview, you have been saying a lot of terms from your book, many characters, some Kunzum aunties and ammas, yeah. So the thing that hit me was elephants, right? You said herds of elephants on the road, and what made you like getting elephants into your book? Like not any other animal, dog, cat, or something like a parrot or rabbit. Like, is there any semiotics behind this choice, or like it was just like random?
No, it was not random, and that's a lovely question. I mean, thanks for asking that. I think elephants are one of the most gentlest creatures that we know. Despite their size and despite their ferocity, and the herds, they represent a lot of potential violence if they are angry. So it was a very clear, deliberate choice where I wanted to use the elephant, which is known for its wisdom, its power, in a way that is unexpected. So I think that was the trigger for me to use a creature or...
If an AI read your book, what do you think it would disagree with?
So AIs are actually trained not to have an opinion. If you ask for an opinion, they will not give you an opinion. Unless you sort of give it a prompt where it's giving a sort of, say, think like you would think like a reviewer would think, then it probably will give you an opinion. But if you just press for an opinion, I don't know, maybe you should try. I don't know what it would say. But you should, I haven't tried it, but please do try and tell me what it would say.
Okay, thank you. And congratulations on your debut novel. We have saw the awards in your cabin, and I always got intrigued कि क्या है इस book में, and finally I got to know a lot of aspects about it, and I'll surely give it a read. My question is, Master O talks a lot about how technology can overpower human beings, as far as I've heard the conversation. But the characters which you have stated, like Ek, Bagga Auntie, and the review which I read there, that it's a journey through the very fabric of karma. How did you connect your spiritual self to something which will overpower us in the future?
Again, very interesting question, Anna. And the thing is, when I chose Master O, the character of Master O, he's a godman. So what do godmen do? They sort of tell you that what they sort of, the main reason why people go to a godman is that they relieve the guilt that you're carrying, right? Guilt could be about anything, about the way you make money, the way you treat your families, the way you treated your juniors. There's also people come and unburden their guilt in front of the god figures, the godman figures. And the reason why I chose Master O as a godman was one of these reasons, that he should represent a lot of our fascination as Indians for these figures which attract a lot of followers, fans, and as a result we surrender our own critical thinking at their sort of feet and say, okay, you have relieved me of my guilt of so many years, and now whatever you do, I'm going to do. And which is why in the end, as the book progresses, the AI system uses Master O to unleash its plan of doing it over all humans. So that is why.
Congrats, by the way. One thing I noticed subtextually was the main characters that arise, Ek and Master O. If you look at it, Ek is 1 and O is 0. It literally translates into the binary, 1 and O. So was that intended, or was it just a happy accident?
It was there in the back of my mind while naming, because when you're naming your characters, you're actually naming your children. Because it takes that much thought, it takes that much planning, they're not random names. So yes, it was like that. They were coming together in a way where they represent the binary and they represent a partnership which actually happens, it takes place in the Kunzum book, where the two have become merged in a way and you do not know who's helping who. So yes, a very good sort of thing to notice, and I'm glad you noticed it in the first instance itself. Yeah, so Ek and Master O are actually representative of the binaries.
Master O, different from other scientific novels and futuristic novels.
I don't know, every novel, there's a genre, and when you're writing a book, you're not thinking of a genre. Actually, that's my process. I was not thinking of a genre that I will write a sci-fi novel. It just so happened that it went in that direction and turned out to be like that. So, there are many which are written. There are also writers who think that I'm going to write this genre or that genre, and they plan, their whole thinking is of that nature, that I'm going to create a book of this genre. But I was not. So I really don't want to compare it to anything. But yeah, there are instances of inspiration, like there is this number 42 which comes in the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. The number 42 becomes very important, and that was somewhere in the back of my mind. So
Process is also very individualistic. Everyone has his or her own process, and my process is a lot of I trash a lot of my own work, and that is self-editing at one level. So for 2-3 years, my wife did not know what I was writing because I trashed a lot of formal writing. I trashed at least 300-400 pages and said, this is not going to work. So again, it circles back to my Neti sort of fascination. I really trashed it. So 300 pages of written text, which I said, it's not working, and it goes to the dustbin. Then restart again, and then restart again, and then restart. That's why probably I came up with the book. So, I mean, it took me so long to finish. So that works for me, but everyone has his or her own process.